Part 2. Number 4. Good graphics equals bad controls. Now when you jump to a new generation of consoles, what's the first thing that gets improved? The graphics, of course. Now on this front, the game designers did a good job. Angel of Darkness is very pretty to look at. But that's also part of the problem. You see, in a good game, they build the graphics around the controls. But here, they tried to build the controls around the graphics. What we get is a game in which the graphics were improved, but the controls actually got worse. First of all, there's this noticeable delay, so everything feels slower. Lara Croft has no flow. She doesn't feel athletic or agile. You know, like an expert Tomb Raider should be. Instead, she moves around like she has a garbage truck strapped to her back. Another thing I noticed is that for some reason they switched around the button commands. You see, in the first games, square was jump, circle was roll, L2 was duck, triangle brought out the weapon, and L1 was the look. But in Angel of Darkness, circle is jump, square is roll, triangle is duck, R1 brings out the weapon, and R2 looks around. What? At least the action button was the same. Another thing is that they programmed the controls like this was still a PlayStation 1 game. You see, the PS1 controller didn't have an analog stick. So, you need to press certain buttons in order to move around. But with the analog stick, all you need to do was push it gently to walk, and a little more to run. It was very convenient. But they still added things like a walk button and a sprint button, which was really unnecessary. It just makes the controls feel very clunky. Number 5. A bunch of stuff that doesn't belong in a Tomb Raider game. You know, I think this is what happened during a meeting between upper management and the game designers.
Hey, you know what would be a great idea?
What?
If we could take cool stuff from other games and put it in our game.
Okay, like what?
Well, how about Metal Gear Solid? That game is cool, so let's put some stealth elements in our game.
Alright.
Let's put some character interactions, like from that game Shenmue. And hey, how about some RPG?
RPG?
Yeah, like Final Fantasy, that'd be great.
Do you see what the problem is here? Let me put on my glasses. Yeah, no, I see it. Instead of making a great Tomb Raider game and just improving on the existing formula, they started adding a bunch of things from other games and just meshing them together into one big awkward mess. None of it turned out well. Let me show you. Number 6. The stealth. So since Laura's on the run from the cops, they decide to have her sneak around, which kinda makes sense, I guess. But the problem with stealth in a game is that it's only as good as its artificial AI. And the AI in this game is pretty bad, so the stealth is never as satisfying as it is in Metal Gear, or as necessary. In Metal Gear, if you get caught, a whole bunch of bad guys come out to get you. But the bad guys in this game never feel threatening. You can just gun them down and it's no big deal. Killing people is what she does best anyway. Plus she looks pretty silly in stealth mode. Number 7. The character interactions. So there are points in this game when you have to go talk to people in order to get information. And the way you interact with people basically boil down to 2 things. You can either be somewhat sympathetic, or you can act like an asshole. The choices you make can have an effect on your progress through the story, but it's a small one. I'm guessing they thought this could give Laura more of a personality, and give the player more interaction in the story. But let me ask you, seriously, was this really necessary? Was this really what Tomb Raider needed? Branching dialogue sequences? What I don't understand is if someone just gives her attitude, why didn't she just slam her fist into the guy's face and threaten to break his neck if he doesn't give her what she wants? Why waste time playing 20 questions? Killing people is what she does best anyway. Number 8, the RPG. RPG works great in games like Final Fantasy and the Tales series. I mean, after a battle, when your strength increases, you just kind of accept it, because it's an epic fantasy adventure. But in this game, that's supposed to be taking place in the real world, it's just the dumbest thing ever. In order to progress in the game, you have to increase Laura's strength by doing certain tasks like pushing boxes or opening locked doors. For example, by opening a door with like a wrench, it suddenly increases her entire upper body strength, which allows her to shimmy across ledges longer. What? They really think this was a good idea? Did they really think we're all this stupid? Why put this in the game? Then suddenly your friend gets turned into a card, and in order to fight, you have to play a game of pinochle. I mean, why? I just want to hit things with my keyblade, just like I did in the Oh, this is the wrong game. Anyway, so yeah, the RPG stuff is just unnecessary. I guess you can make the argument that Laura was out of the Tomb Raiding game for a while and she was out of shape. But what was she doing this whole time? Was she just sitting on a couch and just eating Cheetos? Or pizza rolls? Hey, you want a pizza roll? Put a nice comment on this internet video and I'll email you a pizza roll. They're fresh out the oven too. Don't they look delicious? Oh, damn it. Continued in part 3.